Hi there, it's Jill McNamee with the McNamee Real Estate Team at Keller Williams, and I am here today on the Small Business Spotlight with my friend Carmen Croonquist from Intentionality Coaching. Hey, how are you today, Carmen?
I'm doing great, Jill. So great to be connected with you.
I know, finally, right? I feel we were just talking. I feel like I have not seen you in forever, especially in person forever, but anyway,
Yeah,
so
3 or 4 months. It's been a
it's
long time.
it's been a
Yeah,
little crazy, hasn't it, over the last few months?
it has.
Yeah,
It's the
so
Chinese saying, may you live in interesting times.
yes, for
Got
sure.
that, didn't I?
So speaking of interesting, I know you have some really interesting stuff going on in your business world. So tell us first of all what, tell the viewers what you do. And I'd be really curious to know, how your business looks differently now after all of this COVID stuff than it did, a couple months ago.
Sure, sure. Well, thank you, Jill, for this opportunity to talk a little bit about my passion, which is intentionality coaching and consulting. I've had my business since 2003, so not new, but initially when I got started, um, it was very much a part-time side gig because I also worked in higher education. So I always had this full-time job.
Mm,
And ultimately my business became, everything, my main gig. And I started out with a long history of helping people with career life purpose, career counseling and coaching, helping people make transitions from one career to another. I did a lot of work with personal branding. So for 10 years, I worked with William Aruta's Developing Your Personal Brand program. He's one of the gurus in the
oh,
field. And
interesting.
did a lot of work with that, with leaders, with one of the big four accounting firms. Um, and so I've done a lot of work around the career life purpose leadership space. What's changed? A few years ago, I added something called theta healing to the bailiwick, which theta healing is looking at what are deeper programs and belief systems that run on the subconscious level that often prevent us from getting what we want. So I was really looking for a way to help people heal and get what they wanted more quickly and on a more transformational level. So I kept asking that question, how can I do this? How can I find a
Right.
more way? And was led to the model led to theta healing. So what's different in the past couple months is this kind of pause or reset um, gave me a chance to really dive deeper into the world of theta healing and do more of
Mhm.
it. And of
Like,
course, having to think about how do I deliver services, because I'm used to being one-on-one in person,
right,
um,
face to
doing
face.
workshops and presentations and keynote speeches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's interesting, especially, there's so many of us have had to figure out new ways of doing things. Is there some things that you figured out during this time that you think you'll continue doing because it's a better or more efficient way? Or do you think after all this is over, you'll go to the old way of doing things? You know what I mean?
right. I think one thing I've been working on through all of this is getting some of my courses and programs online. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting together right now. I'm in the process of that. I think that's a good thing because I think that makes me far more accessible than I
Right,
could just offering programs out here in Hudson, Wisconsin.
right.
Um, Back to doing workshops and programs in person again. Tomorrow night, for instance, I'm teaching a class on the energy codes, which will be held at Ziggy's in Hudson.
Oh, nice.
Goes from 8 and it's free. Everybody is welcome. So we've been doing our meetings virtually the past couple months. It's gone well, and we've also had technical problems.
Uh-huh.
With
Right.
one of the issues has been with my husband, myself, and my stepdaughter all working at home during the shelter in place. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just the bandwidth has been stretched, so we've had times where things have frozen up and not worked so well. So
Uh-huh.
um, I'll be looking forward to doing some things in person again.
Right.
But I have found that doing the theta healing is very effective online. And just for instance, from I got this review on my website from a client last week, if you don't mind my sharing it.
Yeah, no, I think you should share it for sure.
Okay. And she's someone who's really had some challenges, lost a son to suicide,
Wow.
um, some, really tragic events happen in her life. And this was before all the, COVID-19 stuff that
Right.
came. But this is what she wrote. She said, "It's been a few days since my first theta healing session with Carmen. On that day, I felt a lifting of heavy energy. Almost 2 weeks later, I still feel a freedom from past energies and a sense of acceptance within me that has me looking forward to the future with great optimism and hope. I'm not as afraid to try new paths and step out of my comfort zone. More acknowledging my comfort zone has been accepting the unhealthy conditioning of my past experiences. I trust Carmen to help me if I hit fear-based blockages or stagnation in my progress. Together, we are rewriting my story, and I'm forever grateful for meeting Carmen."
Oh, I
And
love
like,
that.
first thing I saw one morning last week, and it was like, ah,
Like
this
you
is
just
why.
want to, I know it's like I have goosebumps right now. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So that healing session that you did with her, it was virtual, obviously, because of the time that we're in. Um, is it a process? Is it you guys having a conversation and digging deep into what her, issues might be? What does something like that look like for somebody that doesn't know?
Yeah. Um, Thank you for asking. And the term digging deep is exactly what theta healing entails.
Hmm.
You start with something, and the things that people tend to work on are fears that can often turn to phobias, as we all know, if
Uh-huh.
we let our fears trap us and silence us.
Mhm.
Resentment issues. Some people have deep-seated resentments that get in their way,
Mhm.
especially in terms of relationships and certain progress. Illnesses, um, looking at why an illness was
Right.
created, because
So
it's
it's
created.
almost like energy work then, in a way.
It is, and it's also using a theta brain state. And you can also use it for manifesting. You can
Mhm.
use it for what do I want and what might be getting in the way.
Right.
So your belief work, because our subconscious will hold on to certain belief programming because it keeps us safe. Our
Right.
subconscious often fears change because
Mhm.
the status quo is what it knows. And
Mhm.
often resist change. And so there's a point where many programs we have just aren't working for us. They no longer serve us. Um, or we might not even be aware that some of our subconscious programming is even there because
There,
it's not.
yeah, for sure.
So the process, you mentioned it early, digging deep.
Yeah.
So instead of talk therapy, which gets more into your story, this will look at the past. Like
Uh-huh.
let's go back to the first time you felt that way or had that thought or had that
Right.
feeling. Or if you're trying to work on a certain skill, let's look back to the first time you became aware that you lacked that skill or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm starting with the surface level belief. Like I had somebody who came to me um, with the surface level belief of, I want to work on my communication skills and be more confident, as a communicator. And we dug deep and came down to a issue of everybody that I love hurts me
Hmm.
always. And
Wow.
in a belief system that related to her mother. And so shifting that up totally shifted her energy. So I kept
Wow.
asking who, what, why, when, where, how.
Right.
Learn like, how did it serve you?
Yeah.
How believe, because often it's safety. I resent somebody because it keeps them away
Uh-huh.
and I'm able to stay safe. Or if I fear that, I'll never have to take a risk or try whatever it
Right.
is that I fear. Or I'm going to hold on to this grudge because I don't know any different. I don't know how to forgive on a deeper level.
Right.
Um, the whole process is moving more quickly. And then what we're doing is we're energy testing. So that's one of the first things that I do with a client is I teach them how to energy test. And then we look to see if they're able to energy test correctly. So you have to drink a lot of water,
Uh-huh.
really
Yeah.
hydrated. But we can every single person has that access to their subconscious to energy test. Then what we do is we both get into a theta state. The theta state is what you have right before you go to sleep, but it's something that's used in hypnosis and in a dreamlike state. And this is the way for you to get access to your subconscious to make changes.
Wow.
We go through a process to go into theta. Everything I do, I ask for permission. I can't download anything, change any programs without the permission of that client.
Of the person.
Everyone has free will, and it's an important law of the universe that we all, those of us in this profession, have to adhere to. But I'm looking at both belief programs, but also sometimes people have never had certain feelings. They've never known what it's like to receive love in a certain way, or how to live without anxiety or without a certain phobia or fear or whatever it might be. And so you're teaching people how to, and you're downloading how to feel in a certain way. So it's a connection with the person's subconscious, their divine ability to create, but we're also tapping into creator energy. So it does require that you have a belief in a higher power.
Right.
It works with any religion, any other healing modality. But it does require that you believe in, as I call it, creator.
Right. So is it a process? I mean, is it, it's not something where one session and you're thinking differently. It's like an ongoing process that you go through, I'm assuming. Is that correct?
Sometimes it's a one-timer that shifts things up completely.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Other times it really depends, because some people have a lot of belief systems to unpack, and
Uh-huh.
we can't hold two contrary belief systems in our subconscious simultaneously. So you can remove a program, like I want to find out on what level of belief that program exists. And that's where energy testing will give us those answers.
Mhm.
But then we look at what's the program to replace it with, or what kind of feeling needs to be downloaded. And so what I
Right.
usually start with, the reason people don't heal or change is, number one, they don't want to, because whatever problem they have is serving them in some way. Believe it or not, even illness can serve people in some way.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the only way that they can get attention or a break or bring their family together. But we all create illness for a purpose.
Right. Huh.
Discovering what that is, or a fear, or whatever. So I want to know, where that belief system is, and what have they learned from it, and are they ready to release it, or maybe change part of the program?
Mm-hmm.
We're known a feeling, because we can energy test whether or not they've experienced a certain feeling before,
Right.
and if they haven't, we can download that. So the process usually is, what I do, I teach them how to energy test. I teach people kind of the basic understanding of the process of theta healing, the science behind it, how it works, and what might get in the way of healing beyond just the, hey, I don't want to because it serves me. Sometimes people don't think it's possible.
Right.
And if I, as the healer, if I don't think it's possible for somebody to be healed, that impacts it as well.
Yeah.
So after doing the theta state, where we go into a theta state, I teach them how to get into a deep theta state. And then I will download them with, I know creators' understanding and perspective on making the impossible possible, and that it's possible. So we'll go through a few downloads so they're really prepped for it. And then we'll start okay, we're going to start on the surface.
Right.
And down to the core issue. So belief systems, Jill, I guess the best way I can kind of explain it is, there's often this bottom belief under which a lot of other beliefs are stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So you can spend a whole lot of time, like, picking at every little belief. But if you get to this bottom belief, then many other things above it shift as well.
Right.
So it's fascinating. It's miraculous. I'm not the healer, I'm the witness. So Creator's the healer.
Yeah.
I show up to facilitate,
Right.
to create that session with the client. But I'm there as the witness because there's something in quantum physics that says
Uh-huh.
nothing unless it's been observed.
Right.
Healing.
So, okay, so just so people know, like how much does something like let's just say I wanted to meet with you and start going through this process, what does that cost? I'm assuming obviously insurance doesn't pay for it because it's holistic, right?
Right.
Do they buy a package? Do they pay you per hour? Or I'm sure too, it might depend on each person.
I have, it does depend on each person. I've included one theta session in with other coaching packages. So some people still want the career life purpose,
Uh-huh.
helping transition or personal branding. But I'll usually throw in like one theta healing session. And people have loved it. So this is the way I've normalized it because, some of my friends in the career counseling world are like, oh, Carmen, be careful,
Right.
don't get too.
Yeah.
And so, and so for me, it was initially part of normalizing it, and people have loved it. I also, people can book just one theta healing session.
And then just see
One,
where it leads and uh-huh.
and if they need more,
Right.
theta healing session for an hour is $175.
Okay. So it's
For with a
affordable.
it's affordable, and it's an amazing feeling. Um, like your heart chakra, you can feel when those downloads and those shifts take place. And
Oh.
I'm right there feeling it along with that client. And
Oh,
it's nothing short of a miracle. I
wow.
get to do miracles every day that I do this.
Yeah.
And I'm so
Sounds,
grateful.
I know it
It's
sounds super interesting. I feel like I should try at least just one session to just experience it.
I
No,
would love it
yeah, you
to
have
help.
my interest peaked. So, because I'm a huge believer in energy, I think, it's
Mhm.
super important, and how you show up in the world is going to make or break how people receive you. So,
Right.
well, that's good. Well, good. Okay, so obviously everyone watching this video is going to be reaching out to you for more information. How would they do that? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Let me put out my phone number. It is 651-497-7178. People can go to my Facebook page, which is Intentionality Coaching and Consulting Services, and reach out to me there to book a session or to ask questions, to learn more. I'm going to give you my more common email address. I'm plagued by the fact that I have several email addresses.
Oh, yeah.
When you
Uh-huh.
find too many to check out.
Yeah.
So the one that I've had for the longest time, and where my contacts are all existing, is under CJ as in Jean, CJ Croonquist, CROON as in Nancy, QUIST at yahoo.com.
Okay.
So those are the best ways to reach out to me to set up a session
Okay.
or just to learn more. I'm happy to do a quick
Yeah.
strategy call with you or a
Uh-huh.
Q&A to help you learn more.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I think I might be one of your first phone calls. I think I could use
Yay.
it. I'm going through a lot of changes right now in my business as well. So it might be a good time for me to get clear on what my intentions going forward are. So yeah. Well, good. Well, thanks so much. It was so great catching up with you. I know it's been a while, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person here. And yeah, so
I look
all
forward
right.
to it.
Well,
We'll
thanks.
venture out tomorrow night. Again,
Yeah.
codes is at Ziggy's. You don't have to have attended any of the previous ones because we'll do a little review and catch you up.
Uh-huh.
But that's exciting work too. It's based on the book by Dr. Sue Morter. I'm just going to put that one up here right now.
Okay.
You don't have had to have even read the book,
And
but
when,
each week
that's tomorrow?
tomorrow from 6 to 8 in person at Ziggy's in Hudson. And we're up in the fireplace room upstairs.
Okay, and is that a
Yeah.
large group?
We have typically had up to 20 people. I would say it's been averaging around 14. Now, the past couple months, we haven't been able to meet in person, so we've held virtual events.
Okay, cool.
So
I'll have
we'll
to
back
check
to
my schedule. That sounds like something I'd be interested in. So
Oh.
good. All right. Well, thanks for being on today.
Thank you, Jill. Take care.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll see you soon.